So I'm extremely tired now because I've just been reading about sound, the speed of sound, density, what else? Blah 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 blah. Sound waves, seismic shocks, pressure, density. Basically going on about as density increases, sound waves slow down, but that isn't true in the centre of the Earth, in the mantle. The pressure and density in the mantle is increased, but sound also increases. That's because you've got heat involved, and the fragment flipping particles are allowed to move freely still. Whereas if you took that same density of material, the centre of the Earth, and then instantly froze it to keep it exactly the same as what it is, so you just went bang and froze it from being molten lava to frozen basalt instantly. If you just froze it all instantly, it was exactly the same pressure and the same density, all of a sudden the transmission of sound would be less. The speed, you understand? It wouldn't transmit as good. I've lost my place now. Now I've just forgot what I've read. Sorry. Basically, you've got to understand what I've just said there. Read it yourself. Basically, I'm right. I am absolutely right. Because the particles, because the elements, the atoms, are still moving under pressure and density in the mantle, transmission of anything, light, sound or anything is a lot freer, has less resistance, than it would do with the same pressure and density if the material was frozen solid instead of being, because it's compressed and dense and still liquid, the mantle, and gaseous and everything, yeah. You've got gases and everything trapped in the mantle. Sound could pass through it faster. It's extremely difficult to explain it in these simpleton terms. Very simpleton terms. But also, if I was going to take that same block of material, of mantle, lavous, gaseous material, and instantly freeze it, you got to just take that bit, just take the bit of the mantle that's under pressure, under the Earth now, like, yeah, keep it under that same pressure and density, but freeze it so it's now solid, it's basalt, let's say, let's just pretend it's basalt, it isn't basalt, it's a solid material, and you have a container here with the mantle and a container here with the basalt, transmits sound through the mantle, it goes through a lot faster than it goes through the basalt. So then the speed of sound, so when you talk about the speed of sound, so the speed at which sound creates a frictional noise, right? So the speed of resistance or whatever, like the speed at which it's going to create a bow wave. That means the speed of sound is slower in heavier, denser materials, but it isn't true in the mantle. But if I take those two instances and show you why, put them next to each other like that, hopefully you can understand why the speed of sound changes and why it's not a shock wave, it's not a wave, it's not a gravitational wave like in Einstein's theory of waves, right? It's because the data is being transmitted through the field, fragment field, whatever you want to call it, magnetic field. It's a magnetic field, right? And the greater the density of the magnetic field, the greater the gravity. Alex, explain that one. If we've got enough time, what kind of time are we at now? 5 minutes. I'll explain gravity and magnetism and the relationship between magnetism and gravity later. I'll explain why Newton's wrong, why Einstein's wrong, and why Stenge is right. Alright? And I'll explain how my calculation explains gravity. And some people go, oh, you're right. And some people go, ah, you're wrong. Just because some people just live in the written book world, but some people read what's been written, understand that it's been written in a certain way because of what they've read before that, but then understand their understanding and write it a different way, and things gradually become accepted, and you will gradually accept what I say to be correct. You will gradually accept it, and you've got your normal physicists, you've got your quantum physicists, you've got your particle physicists, you've got your Vladi physicists and everything. No, you've just got your Stenge physicist, and he explains everything. Everything. Why do you need loads of different calculations? Why would you need loads of different calculations? Why? Why? Why would you need a different calculation for the same thing? But because it's smaller. So let's go back to the batteries. Okay. To construct the batteries, they're two different sizes, like, yeah. Right, in your world, you'll need physics to create this one because it's big, and then quantum physics to construct this one because it's small. Why? That's just, no, you said, oh yeah, it took quantum physics to make the small one and it took normal physics to make the big one. No, that's not what I'm saying. This is an analogy. Alright? What I'm saying is you take something big, alright, in your world you use a certain mathematical calculations to make something big, right? And then to make something small, you take a completely different set of calculations which don't correlate. There's no correlation between the two at all. You have to use a different set of sums to do different things. Why do you have to use a different set of sums to make the different sized things on your planet? Because you don't understand everything and you won't accept everything, because you're trying to block certain things out, because you don't have acceptance, because you want to deny things, because you want to hide things, and the only way you can hide things is by pretending. It's a big let's pretend game. If you stop pretending and start getting real, then you can do everything. Absolutely everything. It's really annoying watching you all knacker everything up, including the atmosphere. We all know the world gets hotter and colder, and because of scientific experiments conducted on the North Pole and the South Pole, or Greenland and Antarctica, we've drilled down through the ice record, and not only there, we've also drilled down through the rock record, and we've seen the changes. We've even got trees that go back 600 years, 1200 years, and then we've got trees which were cut down 1200 years ago, which are a further 1200 years old. So that's 2400 years. And then we've got trees that were felled 2400 years ago, which are another 600, 700 years old, and that's an even older record. So we've got a record which is consistent to light conditions and heat conditions just through cutting down wood and having furniture. And what I'm saying